Welcome back to Flow Sports and Flow Football. I'm your host, James Verrett. We are joined now by the Hawks of Chowan, head coach Paul Johnson in his second season. And we also joined by Noah Horton, one of the offensive linemen for the Hawks. Coach, thank you for joining us. And first of all, how has it been going from year one to year two?
I don't even know where to start. Year one was a great learning experience. It taught me a lot. When you go 0 and 10, if you don't learn anything, then something's wrong. But the progression of the program and the team is in a totally different space. I'm really excited. Like just say from last spring when I got there, it was late January, early February, so I had missed mid-year recruiting. This year I brought in 17 mid-year transfers, 9 new offensive linemen at mid-year, and then signed a good high school class. Last year, at this time I had 49 kids on the roster for spring. This year I went into spring ball with 88. So we're just ahead, and it really dived into the recruiting piece, trying to make sure that we got the right kids that fit what we're trying to build and fit the culture of trying to build a winning program. So we're real excited about a year later. Got some staff changes, which is, been good for us, and I feel like we're just a close-knit program right now. We're trending in the right direction.
When you look at your season last year, you had early leads against Delta State, Valdosta State, North Greenville.
Yeah.
How do you look upon those type of things to build upon what you can do this season?
Well, I think it comes down to discipline. I mean, when you're in games, it's not talent was there. It's just we got to have a disciplined program, a disciplined culture. I think that wins you games in the fourth quarter. Talent will get you a lead at halftime, but what are we going to do in the fourth when it really matters? So looking at the program last year, I feel like that's where we lacked, and it wasn't talent. We had a ton of talent. I mean, we're replacing some really good ball players from last year's team, that were on an 0 for team. But, like, talent-wise, we were there, right there around the corner. We just got to keep knocking on the door, and put the little things together. In the fourth quarter, it matters. You got to be disciplined. It's got to be a team. It's got to be everybody on the same page.
Preseason, they have you ranked seventh.
Yeah.
Is that something that you're comfortable with, or do you use that as bulletin board material for your squad?
Nah, that don't drive us. I mean, that's just talking season. Like, none of that even matters. That's other people's opinions. So I'm not worried about that. I don't think, my football team that I have going in the fall will be worried about that either. It's about what you do on the field. So,
on the field, your field general, quarterback will be an interesting situation. What players do you have, and who do you think you're going to be able to count on to be your signal caller when it comes to the fall?
well, the great thing is, first of all, let's talk about last year's guy. Shout out to Rashad McKee. What a tough stud player he was. I was just blessed to have him in my first year. But he was a baller, an absolute baller, and we couldn't protect him. We couldn't keep him upright. But he was doing his thing last year. So that's obviously a tough piece to replace, but we're excited about the options we have. We came out of spring with his backup from last season, who was a freshman, and had a really good spring ball and, really took the reins. But we have some other options, and, we're going to let it bat out in the fall camp and see where it lands. But, definitely excited about the quarterback position.
Defensively, stopping the run in this conference is really paramount, but anywhere in college football, you want to be able to stop the run. How important is it for your team to be able to do that well?
Well, I think in any program, offensively, you want to run the ball, and on defense, you want to, stop the run. I'm excited about my hire on defense. I hired Tony Gilbert, who was at Mississippi College last year, who's got a ton of experience and brings just a ton of upside to our program and leadership. So I'm excited to see what he can do. He's got experience in the Gulf South, and, I think he's going to do a phenomenal job over there. And last year we were – we had some good games where we played some pretty good defense, and then, the big play guys last year. It wasn't the drives; it was the two-play scores, and we were so talented on the defensive line and on defense. So I think this year my main focus is just to play better team football. It's not just about defense. We got to play a better team game, offense, special teams, and defense together.
We're going to take a look at your schedule right now before we talk to Mr. Horton. Your schedule, when you just look at conference play, is rather daunting, but you're going to open up at Elizabeth City, and then you're going to play Barton before you get into conference play. Yeah. How important are those first two non-conference games before you get into conference play?
They're huge, but I mean, I wouldn't even get to Barton. Like Elizabeth City is a big one. Week one, like that's what you got to be focused on. That's what I preach to the kids already. In summer workouts, we're worried about Elizabeth City. We got to take care of business on the road. Coach Hillary does a great job over there. They're going to be tough. It's going to be a challenge. We got to get some confidence going early, and then, I'm excited to see Coach Hester come to the borough at a night game for the second game. I'm excited for all that. But Elizabeth City is our main focus. We got to be ready for them.
When you look at the conference schedule, how much of a hand did you have in scheduling, and how much is playing a team at the right time important for you?
Oh, I think it's huge. You look at year one as a new head coach and a new program moving from the CIAA to the Gulf South, which is, Gulf South is a really good conference. We opened up with Delta State week 2. Like, what are we talking? I'm like, all right, well, it's time to go.
Right.
So you jumped right into the conference and had some big dogs early, and it was a tough sledding. But this year, I think it's important. I really, me and Coach Patrick Mashu, who's our AD, he really lets me do the schedule. He'll give his advice when he needs. But so I had a chance to really get to know Coach Hilliard and the other coaches around, and we decided that it was best for us to play week 1. And some people are doing week 0s and doing all that. I'd rather just do a week 1 this year, and I'm excited about the schedule. I think it's going to be great. We got Mississippi coming to our house instead of us having to go down there to them. But we still got to turn around and go to Delta. Mm-hmm. So we got some long trips, and travel is definitely a challenge. But, I think we'll be more prepared for it this year because we understand what it is.
That first time when you had to make those trips on the road, how much did you learn about yourself and about your team?
Well, I learned a ton about both. Who I had on the bus was important. But I learned who I had in my building, okay? Like what kind of program I actually had right now with the travel. About myself, I actually really enjoy traveling. I don't like getting back on late Sunday night after the game, but I really enjoyed it. It's good to play at these other stadiums. I mean, I think, if you're looking at the conference, it's an enjoyable conference to travel in. Like, you get to go to West Georgia. That's a good experience for the kids. You pull up to this beautiful place, and, it's a great atmosphere. It's like a really, really cool thing for the kids to see these other stadiums and these other programs. And, I enjoyed it. I really think it's a good opportunity to, see other venues.
Let's talk about this young man that we have over here, Mr. Horton. What can you say about this young man as an offensive lineman and as a student?
Well, you got to think, I've had Noah Horton. When I was at the University of Charleston, I recruited Noah Horton out of Fork Union. And then, I obviously ended up at Chowan a few years later, and was really blessed when I called him when I got the head job to get him back. So we're excited about the progress he's made in the weight room, and looking forward to his junior year. I think he's going to be an absolute stud for us this year. We just got to keep grinding. But he's a smart football player, tough. When I recruited him out of Fort Union, he's nasty. He's going to be physical. That's in his nature. So I'm excited and want to see him just punish people this year and really have a good year.
Noah, first of all, this offseason, you took it upon yourself to make some adjustments physically and lifestyle-wise. Could you explain to the folks what you did?
Yeah, just really running in the morning, 30 minutes of cardio. Then in the afternoon, I'm going lifting weights every single day. I also did a lot of landscaping over the summer too, running the weed eater. So all that, just outside, just being active, moving, trying to eat right, drinking nothing but water, just made me shed weight.
I hear you. So what was the end result for you as far as shedding weight? Wherever did you start, and where are you now?
I played last season about 425, and then now I'm 365.
You've got some defensive linemen that are feeling real good about themselves. If they moved you a little bit, they said they moved a 400-pound guy.
Yeah. Yeah.
So as far as your mindset going into this season, what have you tried to change outside of your weight to try to make yourself a better offensive lineman?
Just doing everyday drills, trying to, really focus on the little details, trying to get really better at what I do. Yeah.
I hear you. Now, you come from a football family. You have a younger brother that plays at Indiana.
Yeah,
Indiana
Indiana.
University. How important is that during the off season to have somebody that you can go to and say, you know what, I need to work on this move. Do you think this would work? This wouldn't work? Does that happen in your house?
Oh, every day. I mean, that's my little brother's my best friend. You know, we call each other every day, keep up with ball. He's just like me. I mean, I'd say he's a glorified O lineman over there, but he's super physical, super good kid. I mean, that's little bro, but I look up to him too. I really pay attention to everything that he does, try to figure out what he does right, what he does wrong. But I'm really excited for him. I hope he has a great year.
What did you learn about yourself and about your team last year going through the Gulf South for the first season?
It's different, playing because I was at Charleston. Definitely playing in the MEC was, just playing in the Gulf South is way different than MEC. But yeah, just the playing in the away games. I mean, I love it. It's the best. It's like real football.
I understand that. When you look at the goals for this year's team, and you're one of the team leaders, what have you told the younger guys and the guys who will have their first opportunity to play? What is the goal for the Hawks this year?
I'd say just focus on like win, just win, just focus on stop worrying about all the other stuff and really lock into what we got going on. We're trending upwards, and if everyone just buys in, like we're all in the boat, we'll be fine.
Offensive linemen sometimes have a second communication skill. You have a way that you talk to your quarterbacks, your running backs, but to each other, you have your own language. How much have you worked with your fellow offensive linemen to try to not only keep your quarterback upright, but have a good, strong offensive output this year?
I mean, we talk about what we're doing every single day. Every calls, we try to talk all the time over it.
I hear you. Now, I hear that you like to eat, but you don't like to cook. But you have an apparatus that's your go-to thing. What is your go-to thing?
Wings.
Wings?
Yeah.
What device do you use to cook your wings?
Oh yeah, air fryer, man. Air fryer. The air fryer.
So did you have to put the air fryer aside on the weight loss plan?
Yeah, believe it or not, I was a lot of Chipotle.
Shout out Chipotle.
Shout out Chipotle.
So Chipotle and weed eating will help someone lose weight.
Yep, drink a ton of water, lift a lot of weights. Go play pickleball too. Pickleball.
Pickleball?
Yeah.
You're a pretty good pickleball guy now?
Yeah, I'm a pickleball guy.
I hear you. Yeah. Coach, before we let you go, we want to talk about one thing. I know that the aspiration is to make it to the playoffs, eventually a national championship. Yeah. But for this conference to have 3 teams in the playoffs, but having that regional play, what are your feelings on that as far as this conference being represented and having to play each other just to start?
Well, it doesn't make any sense. Like, what's the D3 do a national playoff? However they organized it is pretty good. But I think, it's unfair for who we had, Delta, West Florida, and Valdosta. Who was their week 1? I can't remember. But they had to play each other in the playoffs, and they played each other already in the year. So it's hard to beat somebody twice. And I think, if I'm looking at the conferences, like the Gulf South's got like some of the best programs in the country. And for them not to be able to like get out of the region to actually compete against the other so-called best teams in the country is unfair in my opinion. Because if you look at, I could talk to Delta, Valdosta, and West Florida. It's people don't want to play them. People aren't scheduling them out of conference. Like right. They probably struggle to get a game if they have one open. So I think it's something that needs to be looked at. I think it's something that needs to be fixed. I would like to see it be fixed so that you can actually see some other teams play each other, like to where it's not, oh well, we got West Florida and Delta State.
Right.
You know, I think who West Florida lose to in there? Was it Delta in the playoffs?
Yeah. No, West Florida lost to Delta. Mm-hmm.
But didn't West Florida beat Delta in the regular season?
Yes.
So, and I think Delta actually put it on them or had some turnovers. I remember watching the game. But anyway, it's just unfair. They've already played each other. It's time to see what these other teams, these other conferences stack up to what the Gulf South is and see who would be better. So I'd look forward to it. I hope it happens. I think it'd be exciting. I think it'd be an opportunity to see Gulf South teams go further. Because they're playing teams that don't know them and aren't prepared for, the talent that the conference has. So I think it would be huge.
All right, Coach Johnson, Mr. Horton, thank you so very much. Stay tuned. When we come back, we'll have more of the 2024 Gulf South Conference Football Media Day right here on Flow Sports and Flow Football.